what it is we need to be able to determine in order to get to where we need to get to. So team one, you've all got 5 minutes. By the way, all party select committees represent all political interests. On the basis of lobbying, they are prepared to hear from the community for the first time as to why they should be given due consideration for the resources for their community, as opposed to those who have not got a Scooby-Doo of what they're talking about.
Thank you. So, we had the task of putting on this incredible football tournament, which again brought a lot of people together. We had the two rival teams and the rumour of violence. Right now, the risk assessment. I'm going to start with the risk assessment point and topic, because in an event like this, where there is always a risk of violence, and there would have been a risk assessment in place before. Every time there's a match, this risk assessment should be revisited and looked at, really, not just with the organisation putting on the football tournament. The teams have to get involved, meaning the coaches, which I'm going to come to the coach and what we heard about him, but also community partners and community collaborators from the police, any other local organisations that have worked with these young people, schools if possible. A real multi-agency approach to risk assessing a tournament of this magnitude. So that should have been in place kind of anyway, and we revisited that. Now, one of the key things that we got into was the rumour of the star player having kind of some involvement in violence. And what we took from that, okay, obviously it's a rumour, everything, if we hear something in intelligence, it has to be addressed right. So our first thing was to go to the teams and the coaches. At the same time, we went to the team. I know I'm making this like a real action game, but at the same time we went to the coaches. We heard rumours of one of the coaches was dealing in the community, dealing locally. So we had to look at that, and one of the key things we spoke as a team, and Selena is so right about, is like always ask, is there a safeguarding concern? Because safeguarding is at utmost, even over participation, over everything. Everyone has to be protected first and foremost. So we went to kind of one of the teams. Well, in fact, you know what? I'll let one of my incredible colleagues tell you the step we took with one of the coaches.
2 minutes.
Sorry, you know.
So again, when it comes down to both teams, like I said, there is a real risk of harm to the star player, but to both the teams almost as well. We have to protect every young person. So the approach that we've decided to take is to kind of raise these concerns up until a higher governing body to see potentially what the actual risk is, to see if there's an actual risk of violence. Then from that we can inform parents of what we found out, what's going forward, and again take due action, which again, depending on what comes back from the police report, that's what we aim to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I'll try and summarise it super quick, right? Because we had a lot of good things on what they lead.
I haven't heard of the gender balance that is required. I said to you, I trust no project unless I see a woman or young woman. Our big issue now is the violence against women and young women. I've always said it's the violence in any community. But let's just say I've gleaned enough that I've got a very good understanding that the male, alpha male position is communicated. I'd like to hear from you both ladies as to what you ultimately decide should happen.
You go for it first and I'll go second.
Okay, so like Darren said, safeguarding first and foremost. Informing the coach parents, so you throw that through that curveball about the coach dealing. So again, if we are approaching the coach, then that could put the athletes in more of a vulnerable position. So what is the code of conduct? Who's the governing body? What can they do to help us assist in this scenario? And what steps can we take in line with the governing body to help with this issue with the coach? Main outcome, making sure that everyone knows their boundaries and knows what the consequences are. Does everyone on board know what the code of conduct is? What can their actions lead to? So making sure that information is easily accessible. How can the violence impact their future goals? If they were to take this antisocial behaviour, whether it's the dealing, whether it's the violence, and how would that impede on their goals?
60 seconds.
Alright, so It's about informing the police as well. Time management, we've got to let the police know. Let them know we need the police there for safeguarding issues, to safeguard our young people and protect them. We've got to let our young people know that the police will be there, because it's an honesty thing. It's about building a relationship with our young people. Professional relationship, of course. We've also talked about social media here, reputation, false allegation, which could lead to cyberbullying, could lead to mental health of our young people as well, which you never know could lead to self-harm.
By the way, that's as good a 360 than I would have hoped to have received in the time and with my mates with the group. By the way, that's a very good place to be. Would you have the tournament or not?
So I think we said no. I think the only way was if we notify people with cards.
Would you have the tournament, yes or no?
We're going to say no.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Team 1. Team 2, please come up. By the way, these politicians are very distracted people. They need to be convinced. Please come up. Team 2.